Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newest edition of What You've Been Missing. Odyssey on the rhymes with my brother Kinetic. I feel at home even when...
1 2 1 2.
Oh, there we go. Microphones are on and working.
Okay.
On and popping.
Uh-huh.
So what's going on, man?
Just out here starting this promotion run for this album that's about to drop in mid-summer. So I'm just doing my runs right now until it actually drops.
Word up, word up.
And I thank you for having me up here this time as an artist. So it feels kind of weird.
Word up, word up. That's what we do, man. We definitely gotta bring you in here, man, because you got this album out, man, and it's incredible. What made you put this album together, man?
Well, a while back, Craig G, he wanted to drop a single on Instagram in celebration of a certain amount of followers on Instagram. So we made a joint together and we put it out, and his record label was like, "Are you dropping a new joint?" And he was like, "No, is it something that's leaked?" So he was like, "Yo, who made the beat? You think that person is interested in making an album?" At that time, I had just started making new beats again because I got new software. So, you know, I was like back into a creative groove. So I had these beats, and Craig was like, "Yo, you want to drop an album?" And he's the one who brokered the deal for me. And then I started putting the album together. I started soliciting favors from a lot of rappers I came across during my Future Flavors days with Marley Marl and Pete Rock. I called in favors from like Sadat X, Mr. Cheeks. I called in like Premier to do a drop for me, like Pete Rock, Raz Kaz, a Long Island's own, a DJ 45 from EPMD.
Right, you even got Sadat X on there.
Yeah. And some new artists who are unsigned, but they're not really new because they used to be down with like Trackmasters and Loud Records. I have a female MC who has never been signed, but she's a veteran, and she's done joints with Nas and Capone and Noriega. My man Jay Wells, he was signed to Trackmaster Records at one point. So I brought them back in because they still had a lot of lyrical skills. And then I just sought out some talent across the nation, you know, with the internet and everything else. I was able to find some dope talent. I have a dope R&B singer from Atlanta. I have an MC from Buffalo who's down with the West Side Gun and Conway Camp. I have some artists from Texas. I have a young kid from St. John's University who's also from Texas, and he's like on some J. Cole / trap stuff. So I got a lot of diversity, and the age group, it starts from like 19 years old to like people in their 40s are singing and spitting, and live musicians. I went with the live musicians on a lot of the joints too.
That's what's up, man. And one question, man. Well, it's more of a statement.
Okay.
Right? Because a lot of people don't know your background. I mean, you just mentioned some of it. But we talked about this last time you were here, but the last time you were here was about almost a decade ago. So for all the new listeners out there that don't know your background, man, let them know how it got started for you, how you got into the game, and where it all started. Where's the beginning, man?
Okay, like in the beginning, I fell in love with hip-hop, right? And then at that particular time, it was like only underground radio stations I was playing hip-hop, like yours. And I came across a show with Mr. Magic and Marley Marl. And I became a fan of Mr. Magic because Mr. Magic was playing a lot of hip-hop joints, besides other people on the underground radio circuit. And then I ran into Marley Marl at BLS because I was a fan of his, and I was trying to get on as an MC, as a rapper. So then he made me spit on the corner in Manhattan, and he took me in for In Control Volume 1.
WUSB Stony Brook, we in full effect.
Woo!
Callie in the building.
It's nice to hear that through some speakers. I'm so used to hearing it in my own little joint, and it's so nice to come to hear, you know, a radio station, studio, especially like the new one that you have now. Yeah. Remember last time we were like in a very small hot box?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yo, shout out to the listeners in Alaska, Florida, of course, Long Island, Suffolk County, but Alaska? Wow. Follow me at DJ Caliban on IG so you know exactly when the album's going to be dropping soon and you can support me.
Word up, word up. Also, shout out to Low One, hiphopstacks.com in California on the check.
Okay.
All right?
West Coast.
Word up. So Craig G, you're in the building, and I know you're mad grumpy tonight. But
he's grumpy every night.
How you been,
every
man?
night.
Though, in other words,
I'm not grumpy at all. I just got finished recording, so I'm just chilling right now. And I'm kind of high, so yeah, I said it. Who cares? Yeah, we in the building though. Callie Bomb, My Solar Take. You know, it's a good album, man. And you know, his mom's is the executive producer, so it's really dope.
Yep, and his mom's is on the beatbox.
Yo, this is an improvement, man. I don't feel like I'm in WKRP anymore. This is like it's a real radio studio now.
That's
Man. It's pretty good.
yeah,
What happened? The alumni kick some money in?
Yeah, we moved up in the world,
It's
man.
really nice, man. It's really nice, man. What's the deal?
So yo, what you been working on, man? I know you've been working on a project, right?
It's not a project. We just do songs and then we say, hey, this is enough. Let's put something out. I don't really like, you know. Yeah. I'm under contract with Yeah, hold on. Our hours of business is 9 to 5 p.m. Big Red Records is only open from 9 to 5 p.m.
Got you.
Yeah, whatever. So anyway, we're here for Callie Band, bro. So let's talk Callie Band.
Let's talk Callie Band.
Yes.
Callie's Band.
Yo, Callie, who else is on the album, brother?
Let's see. We're talking about MCs, starting with Sadat X, Cheeks, Craig G, Jay Wells, Shawnette, my man from Texas named Beto, King Limit, Al Chauncey, R&B singer. We also have musicians, my man Jaquan Hahn, my man Dr. Josh, Rennick on the horns. Who else am I missing? Oh, and I have my daughter is on a joint. I kept it in the family, and my nephew, he's spitting on the joint. So
Who's the woman? What about the woman on the hook?
oh, but you mean on the interludes?
Yeah, on the interludes.
Yeah, I got a nice West Indian lady from Trinidad on one of my interludes, and a nice sexy Dominican on another interlude. So, and the interludes go back to the days when albums used to have skits and interludes. One of my favorite compilations was Pete Rock's Soul Survivor. So I kind of
One of the best albums ever.
Man, yeah. And you know, I called Pete before I did the album. Before I started working on my album, and I called Pete and I talked to Pete, and I told him that, you know, Soul Survivor was one of my favorite compilations albums. And he couldn't believe it because he thought it would be In Control. But I was like, nah, I like the diversity of your beats, the way how you picked your artists, and then you also had instrumentals, so I followed the same pattern and the same model.